Well,
we're live. Now everybody's going to have to come over here from over there.
say there.
Well, they won't see it unless I go over here.
Just tell them to refresh their page. Just tell them to refresh.
It's not going to, refreshing's not going to help.
All they gotta do is log out and log back in, which is refresh. Can I type, if you
You
can't,
can, but it's just going to refresh this page. We're not on this page. We're on this page.
then they
See,
need
there
to
they
log.
are.
Oh, there they are. Good. There's Diane. We were getting worried for a minute there.
We thought we'd lost you guys.
Hi, Tim.
Diane, I'm glad you could make it, you and Tim.
Cynthia. Good old Oklahoma again.
We'll wait just a few minutes, guys, and let folks find us and start filtering in here.
We had a bit of a technical difficulty, but hopefully it's back online now.
Yeah, I think we've got all the technical things worked out now. Let me know, guys, with a thumbs up if you can hear us okay. Yeah, it's been a month or so, a couple of months since we've done. I got a thumbs up from Ken M. It's been a couple of months since we've done a live stream. First off, let me welcome everybody to the Squatch Team live stream.
Hi, Stephanie.
We're here. We're here in the edge of the woods outside our cabin here in southeastern Oklahoma. I want to welcome everybody. I appreciate you guys taking the time to join us. Cryptid 559, good to see you. But I want to thank everybody for taking your time tonight to join us. We figured this is the premium social distancing we can do is be out completely in the wilderness away from everyone. So that's what we're trying to do. We spent a week and a half cooped up at home in Fort Worth, and both of us were about to go stir crazy. So we decided that we were just gonna get in the truck without stopping for a restroom break or anything and drive to our cabin up here in Oklahoma and spend a few days and just really get away from everything and get a different perspective. And we've kind of got down here in the woods and the wilderness and kind of refreshed everything. So I hope everybody is Southern Cal Forest Ninjas. Good to see you guys. I hope everybody's staying safe, practicing all the things we're supposed to be doing with hand washing and the social distancing and staying away from anybody that might be sick. This is a terrible thing, guys, that has uh, kind of taken over the world right now. But there'll be a bright side. We'll get through this, and God willing, we'll get through this and come out on the other side, and things will return back to normal in a relatively short period of time. I'm sure we just got to do everything that the doctors are telling us to do and stay safe and do everything we need to do. And we pray for you guys every day that everybody is staying safe, and we're trying to do our part. Again, this is about the best you can do with social distancing. We're miles from anybody here, and I guess the closest to us is our hairy friends that are here. But we've been down here a few days now. Gosh, the first 2 days we were here, it poured down rain. It rained for 2 solid days, which it didn't really matter to us. We were going to hang out in the cabin anyway. But today it kind of cleared up a little bit, so we decided that it'd be a good time to get out and visit with you guys and do a live stream and kind of let you guys know a few things that's been going on with us.
And forget about coronavirus for the next hour or so. Just relax. And I know y'all are inside, but as you can see, it's beautiful where we're at. The dogwoods are blooming. I went for a walk this morning, and gosh, there were flowers and plants everywhere, and everything is super green. So I wish maybe y'all can just project here in your minds and out of your living rooms or wherever you happen to be, and maybe just do a little escape with us tonight.
Yeah, like I said, we've been down here a few days now, just kind of hibernating in the cabin with all the rain and everything. We have managed to get out yesterday. In between the rain showers, we did get out yesterday and make a round through this part of the property here, and we found some interesting things, guys. We have found two footprints that are extremely fresh. In fact, they still had water in them, where they had stepped and then their footprint filled up with water. One we found further down in the property, close to the creek area. And then we found one today back in the timber back this way. That was a huge, huge footprint. I'm going to guess, what was it, 17, 18 inches
The one
long?
I saw?
Yeah.
Oh, it was scary big. It was scary big, y'all. And it was a good one. I was we were going to lead into that. We know they're here. That's what we'll just lead with. We know they're here. And I was off in the woods by myself, which I shouldn't have been. I've already been scolded for it. Uh, so I didn't have my phone or anything to take a picture. And it was way back in the woods, and I know I could never find it again. But yeah, you go ahead. We know they're here. Let's just say we know they're here.
Yeah,
I got scolded good for getting out in the woods by myself, and I deserved it. I didn't have a gun. I didn't have a phone. I just was going down a rabbit's trail and got off and got kind of turned around. And next thing I knew, I heard huge steps behind me. I'm talking huge steps. And had to come up a hill, and yeah, I won't do that again.
yeah, scolded her pretty good. She's been told you don't wander off in the woods by yourself. I don't even know where I was. I was around here. I've done some work around here today, and I'm pretty sure I was busy doing some work, and she decided to walk off down in the woods and found this fresh, huge 17, 18-inch footprint. And then she was followed out of the woods up here.
Well, in my defense, okay, I did not intend to do that. I was doing some work in the yard here, and I heard something behind the cabin, and I knew Bill was further that way, and this was behind me. And I went around there to see what it was, and I could hear it moving, so I was just kind of following it to see if it was a deer or what was it. And I just went further than I intended to. And like I said, we're both pretty adamant about having our gun or camera or phone or something, but it wasn't planned. And before I knew it, I was at the bottom of that hill, and I could hear loud, loud footsteps. And the strange thing was, I turned around expecting maybe it was just a human out there walking. That's how close it was and how real it was. And so I went, oh yeah, I think I better get out of here. But I had already found the footprint, and I was kind of looking at it and not paying attention to my surroundings, which is another oops. Uh, but it was so big and so good. I just can't believe I didn't have anything to take a picture of it. But then, yeah, when I heard the steps so close, I just started hooking them up the hill as fast as I could. Yeah, so there's the whole story, and it wasn't intentional, but lesson learned.
As always, guys, somebody said, Doomhead said something's moving in the back. You guys got our six back here. This area right back in here, for some reason, has always been a very active area right back here. Our our gifting area is back in the woods back this way, and this area through here has always been an active area. We filmed the juvenile a few months ago back here, right back here, probably 100 yards back in the woods. It was throwing rocks and hitting the cabin, and we found just a lot of sign back there with the footprints and different things. But our gifting area is back here. And uh, we've had some activity back at the gifting area today. I'll kind of let y'all know what happened back there.
Hang on, before you go into that, Doomhead, can you give me more information? Because that's right where they've been today. Was it like right between us? Was it going left or right? What did you see back there? Sorry, go ahead. I saw it again. It's not the camera.
I think you're right. Southern California Forest Ranges. We've been in so many situations out in the forest where, uh, they were throwing rocks at us and growling at us and throwing sticks at us, and we feel like that if they wanted to harm us, we would have been harmed many times. We've been in those situations where they were just telling us they didn't want us there. They didn't appreciate us being there, and they wanted us to leave. We've had that situation several times, and we've always stupid pop-ups. Let me get these pop-ups off of here. We've always, some of our T-shirts say "Respect the Squatch," and we have always respected what they were telling us. And when they start throwing rocks and growling and moving around in the brush, then they're telling us that we need to go, and we've always respected that. And I think if they wanted to harm us, they could have many times. But once we got out of the area, then things settled back down. Third tree straight behind Bill.
To the left or right?
Right here, in this area right here. Guys, if you got any questions for us, as always, put them in all caps. If they're not in all caps, we're going to miss a lot. The chat it moves so fast that we can't keep up with it. So if you got a question for us, put them in all caps. Jeffrey, I did take a look at what you sent me. I've got a 70-inch monitor at home that I can put those up on and blow them up and manipulate them around and do different things with them. I did take a look at that. I really couldn't make a definitive uh, decision on what exactly that was. Uh, at certain angles, it does appear there's something there, and then in other angles, not so much. But I did take a look at those, and I appreciate you sending those to me.
I'm grab the binoculars.
Jeannie said, "How far are you from our cabin?" Jeannie, we're within sight of our cabin. We didn't get too awfully far back here tonight. I just thought I saw something move right there. We have a Wi-Fi situation where if we get too far from the cabin, we start losing Wi-Fi signals. So we have to stay fairly close, at least within sight for the Wi-Fi signal down here to do these live streams. Now we've been pretty good ways back there before, but we're not too awfully far from the cabin. But again, if you got any questions, put them in all caps, guys, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. What I was going to say earlier, when we got down here on, I don't remember what day it was, Friday. It rained a couple of days, so we couldn't get out. So Sheila went down to the gifting area and kind of refreshed things down there. She put out some apples, and she had a loaf of bread that had been here at the cabin for a while. It was expired. So she took that loaf of bread down there and put it down in the gifting area with the apples and some colorful rocks and some different things just to kind of refresh that area down there. So yesterday, late yesterday afternoon, we went down and checked the gifting area, and those things were gone. The loaf of bread was gone. It's not like an animal sat there and tore it open and eat it. There would be remnants and everything else. Just she put some. We had some hamburger left over that I had grilled, and she put that down there. Well, that was gone. Well, this afternoon we left for a while and was gone for a couple of hours. We came back. Well, Sheila went down to the gifting area to check it, and that loaf of bread was back. They brought it back, and it had been opened and some of the bread taken out, but they brought it back and put it back in the gifting area. So, I don't know. Were they telling us we don't like this bread or we don't like the? I don't know. It just all of a sudden it shows back up. So we really believe that they're on property for whatever reason. Have we got protection out there? Yeah, I've always got protection. Anytime I'm out here, I've got protection. In fact, we both do. There's another one right here. So we always have protection. Cynthia, or I'm sorry, Doomhead asked, do we guys have protection? There's an AR within 20 feet of me right here. I've got it over here kind of out of the way. I don't necessarily want them to see that. Uh, for sure, they're not going to come up around here if they see an AR. We feel like they know what a gun is, and they're not going to come around if we feel like that. We feel like they're not going to come around if they see those. So we keep them fairly close, but they're hidden. So hopefully that won't create any problems for them. I guess, Ellie, I guess they're not fond of the bread. I don't know. They took it and it was gone for a day and a night. And then they just brought it back and placed it on the gifting log down there. I need, hey, Rick Wells, you need the AR on your back so folks think y'all look silly. How about the mounds?
So I don't see anything back there, but you guys keep watching.
I thought I saw something moving right in here a while ago. Right in there.
What did Rick say? Put the AR on me so I look silly?
On my back or on your back so we look silly.
Leave it to Rick. Always the comedian.
How about the mounds? Tim's asking about the mounds. Those of you that are new to the channel or that have watched our videos, I did a video a few weeks ago. We were down at Robert Dotson's old research area, and we found in the middle of the forest, just 5 or 6 miles out in the middle of the forest, we found these huge mounds that, quite frankly, they look like graves. And there were 2 of them spaced about 50 yards apart, I guess, fairly close together. But they just looked like a grave, and they were probably 8 foot long and 4 or 5 feet wide and about 3 foot high, mounded up dirt. And it'd been there for a long time. There was already little saplings growing up in it. And on the very head of, or what you would think would be the head of the grave, there was some rocks stacked up. So, we stood around for a while and talked about the grave, if there were graves and what we thought they were, that kind of deal. And if y'all remember, I turned around, started filming them behind us, and caught those 2 images behind us about 100, 150 yards up the ridge. And we feel like that they were watching us the whole time that we were discussing those graves. Those of you that's seen those, one of them was had really a lot of human features. It had almost a white face, really young looking, possibly a juvenile, I don't know. And then the second picture, the second image was more what you think about when you think about a Sasquatch. It looked a lot different, but it was in the same area. I don't know if it repositioned itself, if the lighting was different when I scanned back around. I'm not sure. If you hadn't had a chance to look at look at those videos, go back and take a look at them. But we feel like that they were watching us the whole time that we were standing around there discussing those graves. We've got a lot of comments about why didn't you dig them up? Well, the first thing when we're hiking 6 or 7 miles back in the national forest, we don't normally carry shovels with us. But the other thing, and probably the more important thing, is, do we really want to upset these creatures and have them turn aggressive on us and, heaven forbid, hurt someone? And, when you're that far off the beaten path back in the forest, it would be extremely difficult to get somebody out if they got hurt down there. So we really don't want to upset those creatures down there and have them turn aggressive on us and try to hurt somebody. Now, we are going back and examine those in a little bit more detail, get some measurements, maybe even possibly take a probe down there and try to determine exactly what those are. But we're not going to dig them up. I just don't think that it's a good idea to do that. Um, uh, I certainly wouldn't want someone digging up a loved one, uh, but we certainly don't want to upset them, and then have them turn aggressive on us and then maybe hurt somebody. But we are going back down. We had planned to go back on the 24th, and the weather got bad, and we had a cold front come in with a lot of rain, and the weather got bad. But we are going back and examine those. I marked them on the GPS, and we know exactly where they are, so we can go back to them and examine them in a little bit more detail. Somebody asked earlier, did we put some game cameras down at the gifting area? And we did. I put 2 game cameras down there a couple of months ago when we were here. Different locations down there that anything coming or going, we would have pretty much caught it. Well, all activity at the gifting area ceased. Nothing was touched, nothing was moved down there for about 2 months. When we were here last time, I took those game cameras back down. We didn't get anything on them. And I took them down, and now it seems that the activity has picked back up down at the gifting area. It kind of proves what we've said all along. If you're having activity somewhere and you want it to stop, put a game camera on.
Okay, so how can I point to that? Right.
No. You have to do it like this. Right here.
Over. I'm going to show you. Okay, right through here. It's super, super thick.
Right here.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of wind, but I'm watching something in there that appears to be moving.
Guys, watch this area right here behind us. Right in that area right there. It's almost off camera, but watch this area right in here.
I'm almost getting some movement like this, like moving out and back. But it's super thick, and I can't hold my binoculars as still as I would like. But watch that area, and y'all let me know.
I thought I saw
there. Did anybody see something?
I thought I saw something move right in here.
Move your finger right there. From there, and then come back this way where you were, is where I'm seeing some kind of movement. Yeah, there is some light wind blowing, like this tree, point right there at that tree. See that you'll see how the leaves are kind of moving, so it's.
There's a little wind out here, guys. You're completely off camera.
Well, I'm trying. If when I get over there, I block that. I'm trying to watch that area because I think it's watching me.
Have you had any experience with UFOs?
This is not something we really follow.
No, not really. Now, a number of years ago.
It's dark. Yes, cryptid. It's dark. Are you seeing it in that area that I just pointed at? Because that's what I'm watching, and it feels like it's moving, kind of like this, and it goes back behind the tree, but it's super, super thick over.
Right
Over
in
some
this
more.
area right
Through
through here.
there. Right, right there. Right about through there and up. There's a tree back there, and that's yes, seen head and a shoulder dip out and back. In that area, I think he's back there. I really think he's seeing the binoculars and he's watching me watching him.
I forgot what I was. Oh,
UFO.
UFOs. A number of years ago, guys, this has been a number of years ago. I filmed something that was in the sky that was stationary, and
Just seeing its head again.
it was almost like it had rotating lights on it. It wasn't an airplane, it wasn't a helicopter, because when it left, it just and it was gone. But that was a number of years ago. I filmed it in an area on a piece of property that I had. I wasn't even looking for a UFO. I just happened to notice it in the sky and filmed it. But we don't really delve much into the UFO or anything like that. It keeps us busy enough just trying to do research on these creatures. But don't delve into them too much. I just thought I saw something move right there. Right there. Yeah, to your left. Maybe we'll get some good eye shine when it gets a little darker. Yeah, I didn't really pay too much attention to it back then. UFO wasn't a big deal, or people just didn't talk about them very much. I just happened to, I was out on the back patio late one night and happened to notice this thing in the sky. It didn't look like an airplane. It wasn't moving. So I went back in and got the camera and started taking some pictures. And when it left, it just was, it was gone. wasn't Certainly wasn't leaving like an airplane or a helicopter. It never heard a sound, never made a sound. So, um, yeah, I have read a lot about many reports of UFOs after a Sasquatch sighting, and but we haven't seen anything like that in our research, guys, out in the woods or at night or whenever. But we just haven't seen anything like that. Haven't noticed any lights or UFOs or anything like that. I don't think she'll do that, Jeffrey. She's probably about as far back as she needs to go right there. Keep seeing something move right there. Come get the parabolic, see if you can hear anything. Any questions for the Squatch team, guys? Put them in all caps, and we'll definitely get them answered for you. Um, Again, we do feel like that they are on property. A lot of times we come down here and stay 3 or 4 or 5 days, and there's nothing going on at all. They just don't seem to be here on property. And then other times we come down here, and the minute we get out of the truck, we start getting some kind of action going on. And I've always said that we don't have a clan that lives on this property here, but they sure cross through here a lot. I think they utilize our property here for hunting. We have a ton of deer on this property, a ton of wild hogs. There's a lot of water here, so we feel like that they utilize this property for hunting, and we've found a lot of evidence of that. But we just have not found any evidence that a clan lives here. But they sure pass through here quite a bit. Have I ever been zapped, and what symptoms did you have? I personally have not been zapped. Now, we've had some experience with that. In fact, if Rick Wells is still on here, we were up in Kentucky at Rick's place, and we went out on a night expedition, and we had some things go on that night that were just absolutely crazy. One person in the group started complaining about their ears ringing. It might have been Rick, I'm not sure, but one person started complaining about their ears ringing. Our camera batteries died.
I got severe indigestion. I got sick.
Yeah, Sheila got real bad indigestion. She got sick at her stomach. One of the ladies that was with us had a Fitbit, one of those watches that keeps up with your footsteps and all that. And her Fitbit just started going crazy, just all kind of different symbols and things on it. But it never did.
Hang on a second. I'm fixing to probably walk him to view, and y'all watch.
Don't walk back there.
I'm not. I'm going to walk. Where I'm walking, y'all watch straight down this area and see if you see what I'm seeing. Am I on the camera?
Yeah. Albert Silk said, any plans to ever get night audio like Robert used to get? His audio at night was the best. Yeah. Albert, we've run recorders down here at night, and I've also run some recorders down at Robert's old research area, and we've got some really good stuff. There's some stuff out there on the channel. I think the name of that video is Howls in the Face of Sasquatch. When we got some just unbelievable howls and just sound like screaming. It just sounded like a lady out there in the middle of the woods just screaming. And we recorded that, and it's out there on the channel. But occasionally I do run an audio recorder here. I've run in one several times back in the Gifton area and picked up some really strange stuff. Sheila left some water bottles down there, and I put an audio recorder up, and on the audio recorder you can hear something bipedal walk up, pick up one of those water bottles, and it sounded like it either crushed it or it was trying to drink out of it. And we picked that up on the audio recorder, and that's out there on the channel too. I think the name of that video is this a Sasquatch drinking from a water bottle? Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Have you ever heard, Cindy John said, have you ever heard of a Bigfoot in neighborhoods with houses across the street? Yeah, I have heard of that. If you go to Carl Gotro's channel, and looked at some of his videos. I think his channel is LA Swamp Ape. He lives in a neighborhood with houses around and has caught some really strange stuff. So yeah, I have heard of that. Scott Carpenter lives in a neighborhood, and they come to his house occasionally and visit him, and he lives in a neighborhood also. So yes, I have heard of that. Oh, Diane is saying we're way back, isolated in the woods. It's not. No, this is not a neighborhood. Uh, we're located in a extremely wooded area, just miles and miles of woods all around us. An extreme isolated area. This is not a neighborhood. Um, Not too awfully far from the Ouachita National Forest.
Yes, Jenny, the dogs are with us. They're in the cabin right now, and yes, on more than one occasion, they look specifically out the front door at one area, and they don't always bark. They just stand there and look real close. It's right where we cast those footprints. It seems like they watch that area real close. But yeah, they're safe. I've got the doors locked and they're in the cabin.
Yeah, we usually lock them in the cabin when we're outside or if we have to leave. Uh, but those dogs are extremely sensitive. A lot of times, for no reason, they'll jump up and run to the back door or run to the front door and just stand and stare. They do that quite frequently when we're here.
Are you going to talk about that other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had some strange stuff, guys, in the last few weeks, and I'll mention this. I'll just mention it in passing, just to let you guys know about it. Um, Ellie says, "Do we ever greet them and say hello and speak to them? Do they react?" Sheila talks to them all the time. When we go down to the gifting area, she'll let them know we brought you some apples and, uh, talk to them and let them know we brought something for them. And
You might have already said this, but when we picked up the bread that they had brought back, I put down a sack that's got a bottle of honey and some syrup and some apples and what else? Some water and a little rubber toy. And when I picked up the bread, I said thank you and waved it, and then I put the sack down where the bread was. So we'll see what they do with the bread, the sack that I put down.
okay, I was talking about some strange things that happened to us. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Steve Ishdahl or not. He has a channel on YouTube. It's called How to Hunt, which has nothing to do with Sasquatch, but he talks a lot about Sasquatch on his channel and some of the run-ins. Steve is uh, a hunting guide in Canada. Spends a lot of time in the wilderness, but he's had several run-ins with Sasquatch, and he talks about that on his channel. And occasionally he'll tell a story that someone has sent into him. I guess a couple of weeks ago, he told a story about a gentleman in Oklahoma that was having issues with Sasquatch, on his property, and it seemed that the Sasquatch were keying in on his children. He has small children. I think he has two small children. Has three small children. And back on the wood line at his property, he has a playhouse for them back there. And the Sasquatch seemed to be focusing on that particular area. And they were coming up during the night and peeking in the windows and scratching on the house, and scratching on the door, and just this gentleman was really concerned about what was going on. I think one time his young 3, 4 year old daughter come running in the house and said, "Daddy, there's a hairy man standing out by the playhouse." And come to find out, this guy's property is about 5 miles from this property here. I've talked to him several times, and he sent me some of his videos that he's taken, and some of the pictures that he's taken, and some of it's just amazing what they're doing on his property. He actually went out one night when they were peeking in the windows and scratching on the door, and fired off a few rounds to scare them off. And 30 minutes later, they came back, and they, for whatever reason, seemed to be focusing on his small children. And the guy is really concerned and really asking for help. And I think Steve Ishdahl and Scott Carpenter are working with him and trying to help him however they can. Now, what was really strange about this is that guy's property is 5 miles from here. As the crow flies back through the woods, it's probably less than 5 miles. And, we think that probably the same clan that's creating issues for him is the same clan that passes through here occasionally. And it only stands to reason that that short a distance and nothing between here and there but woods, that they traverse this area. And I think they come here and hunt. Now, do they live over somewhere around where his property is? I don't know. I don't know. But in talking with him, we feel like it's the same clan that's creating all the problems for him. And now this guy's not a researcher. He's just a guy that started having problems. This started happening back in December of 2019. So it's only been a few months. But just for whatever reason, that playground or play area that the kids have, that's where they show up at, and they stand back there. And he's got several pictures of a juvenile that's standing back there by that little playhouse. And just some of his videos that he's taken, they're just crazy. But this guy's not a researcher. He just wants them gone. He doesn't want them around his house.
The creepier part is the ones that he's got pictures of and that he describes are the sounds very similar to what we have here. The juvenile, and he describes a alpha male that we feel describes that picture that we got down by the deer feeder, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So movement and back of y'all's swing. Is it in the same place, Cindy? I'm telling you, you ought to throw your camera back there, because there is something that's just coming out around the tree, and then when I put the binoculars on it, it comes back.
One night, one of his videos, he went out and there was a juvenile standing by the playhouse, and he had his video camera on it, and he reached down to get his pistol, and while he was looking down at his pistol, you could see on the video that thing repositioned itself and went over behind the playground and squatted down. So, again, I think it's the same clan that's over on his property that's creating problems for him is the same clan that we have that passed through here.
Interesting enough, he has put up game cameras, which does usually scare them away, but for him, it has not. Did you tell him about the pictures of them peeking in the little girl's windows? That
Yeah.
was creepy.
Yeah, they peek in the windows at night and scratch on the doors.
And he has some pretty amazing pictures. And that was not caught on game cam, wasn't it?
No, that was just a snapshot. Just took a picture of it. I do too. I hope he gets some help. Like I said, Steve Ishdahl and Scott Carpenter, I think, are trying to help him and making some suggestions about some things that he can do. And there's a couple of things you can do to kind of discourage them from coming, at least coming so close. Putting up a game cameras is one, and there's a couple of other things you can do to keep them from absolutely just coming so close.
There's movement back there, and this light flash. Now the light flash sometimes is there is a property
Lightning
through
bug?
the woods. Yeah, it could be lightning bugs, but there is a property straight back there, pretty far through the woods, and sometimes I think their night lights come on, and I can see bits of it through there. It's pretty far, but that might be what you're seeing. But
Have you seen them in the trees? I have never seen one in a tree, and I look. When we're out doing our research, I constantly scan the trees because we know they do utilize the trees, but I've never seen one in a tree. Need to capture one of the beasts. Well, Doom, what would I do when I captured it?
run like heck.
Yeah, it's definitely the same clan, Diane. It has to be from what he's described, what he has seen. Is basically what we've seen here. The juvenile, the one we call Junior, uh, we've captured him on video here, and there's also an alpha male and a female. Uh, so it has to be the same clan. He's not posting them anywhere, April, that I'm aware of. He's obviously sent them to Steve Ishdahl. If you go to Steve's channel, he's got those pictures on his channel. It's a video he did about 2 weeks ago, and I can't remember the name of it, but he did post them on there. I've got the pictures. I've got the videos here. I wouldn't post them anywhere, especially without his permission. I'm sure he wants to try to remain as anonymous as he possibly can. It's just a tragic situation where he's having to battle these creatures and worried about his kids. But hopefully he can get some help and at least have them where they're not coming in so close. I do have them, Nate. I won't post them. I would have to talk to him and get his permission to post them. But I wouldn't do that without his absolute permission to do that. Yeah, it's How to Hunt is Steve's channel, and it's a video that he posted about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure, but it's one of his recent videos. And he talks about this gentleman and all the issues he's having, and showed a lot of his pictures and things like that. You know, last time I talked to him, he told me, he said, I don't know why all these people go out in the woods and beat on trees and holler and carry on. All they got to do is put up a swing set and they'll come around.
Whose channel is Livewire?
I don't know who that is.
Edgar Ridge is in Livewire.
Livewire?
Livewire is his YouTube channel. Somebody asked about vocalizations. Yes, we do hear them here. If you're asking about right now, there is a cow that's calling over that way. So you may be hearing that. But yes, when I was sitting there out here last night, the coyotes were going crazy, and I thought I could hear a howl in the midst of all that. But yeah, we hear their vocals quite a bit. The stench of their scent is it's hard if you've never smelled it. There's nothing that would familiarize you with it other than most people say it smells like a stinky, dirty, sweaty dog. It's just a stench that's just not familiar because you won't smell it anywhere else. But once you smell it, you never forget it. The guy with Playhouse.
Avery, what part of Oklahoma are you at?
You can probably hear that. That bull. He can sound really bad sometimes.
Altum, Oklahoma. Okay.
Starting to get dark here, as y'all can tell. So whatever was moving around back there, maybe we'll get some eye shine now.
Like a nest above Sheila's head.
I think there is a nest up there. I think I saw some kind of bird's nest up there earlier today. Good eye, Cindy. Well, we should be able to get some eye shine if that's what's going on back there. Yes, they are curious about children. We've seen that and heard that many times. I think they're curious about women. I don't know if they see us as less of a threat, but I think and Bill will agree that I've had more interactions than he has because they seem to be curious. I hope it's just curiosity about women. Southwest Oklahoma.
Be sure and put your questions in all caps, guys. Anything that we can answer for you guys about the research we do or the sightings we've had or some of the interactions that we've had, just be sure and put them in all caps so we can catch them.
I haven't seen Drew on here. Is Drew come in?
I haven't seen Drew.
Oh, did you mention that thank you for all the pictures we've got with the t-shirts? Did you mention that?
I haven't mentioned that, but I want to thank everybody that's going to the Squatch Team store and purchasing t-shirts and merchandise and taking your pictures with them and sending them to me. They go up on the wall in my office. I call it the Wall of Fame. And we're going to have some drawings this year, and we're going to give away some free merchandise and for everybody that sends their picture in with some of the merchandise, we're going to put all the names in the hat and draw some names out, and you're going to win free merchandise and that kind of thing. And then toward the end of the year in the fall, we're going to have a drawing, and that person is going to receive a trip with us to southeastern Oklahoma up in Ouachita on a weekend camp out on an excursion. And
Take care, Diane, Giles. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry you're having to log out.
But that person's gonna go to southeastern Oklahoma with us up in Ouachita and spend a weekend camped out and on an expedition. And if you never had an interaction with Sasquatch, your chances are very likely on that trip. So be sure and purchase that and take a picture of yourself with it and send it to me at searchforbigguy@gmail.com. Roberts in Caddo County, Oklahoma. A lot of sightings there. Do you get more happening at this spot or at Roberts Research Area? Albert, it depends. Like I said earlier, sometimes we come down here and stay 4 or 5 days and we get no action at all going on. And then other times we show up and the minute we get here, we start having some type of action going on. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It just, we never know. Now, down at Roberts Research Area, we pretty much have some type of action going on every time we go down there. We've had, last time I was down there, we had rock clacks, clacking rocks together, wood knocks, whoops. We had all kind of things, different things going on down there. But it seems like every time we go down there, we have some type of action going on. But thanks to Robert, Robert kind of knew where these creatures hung out at, and he kind of knew the areas where they moved through and that kind of thing. So we kind of know what areas to concentrate on when we go down there. Y'all have heard Robert and Udell and me talk about the swamp a lot, and that's an area down there that every time we go down there, we have something going on. That's where I got the 2 pictures on the last video that I did. That was down in the swamp. And we talk about the 11-footer area. That's another area we have a lot of action going on. And there's several areas down there that we know to concentrate on when we go down there, that we know that they hang out in those areas. We know that the day watchers kind of hang in those areas. And
I'm trying to find the nest that they're talking about. And
my thoughts on the dog man. Ruger Ridge asked, what are my thoughts on the dog man? I've never seen one. Now, Robert Dotson, I've talked about many times on here and other places that he had 3 different types of Sasquatch that he had documented down there. One was the patty type that you think about when you think about a Sasquatch. The other was a smaller version that had a lot less hair, maybe 6.5 foot tall, a lot less hair, no hair on the face at all, really a lot of human features on the face. And the third type is a smaller version that I think some people would call a dog man. It almost looked like a baboon with the long snout, the huge canine teeth. Robert had documented those 3 types, but we have physically seen the first 2 types, but we've never seen the dog man or whatever you'd want to call it type. We haven't seen that down there, but Robert saw it, videoed it, took pictures and that kind of thing. And he had documented the three different types that were down there. But now we've never seen the Dogman type. We've seen the Patty type, and we've seen that smaller version that has a lot less hair. It's just a smaller version. And I think there's a lot of things out there on the internet about 6 or 7 or 8 different types Sasquatch, but Robert had documented the 3 different types down there in the Ouachita National Forest. Where's the campfire? Campfire is in front over here, in front of us over there. There is a campfire. It's about to go, but there is one, guys. It's not really conducive for campfire. It's cool, but it's not cold. T-Bill says, have I tried to talk to him? Yeah, I've talked to him. Sheila talks to him a lot. When she goes down to the gifting area and puts things down there for them, she talks to them and tells them what she's bringing for them and that kind of thing. And I have talked to them a couple of times when I felt like we were in a little bit of danger, when they were growling at us and pushing trees over and breaking limbs. And I've calmly talked to them and let them know that we're leaving. We understand you don't want us here, so we're leaving. So yeah, I have talked to them a couple of times. Didn't Robert get hurt one time because of the Bigfoot? Jeannie, I don't know if you call it hurt or not, but he went down in an area that we call the playground and actually filmed one down there. And he felt like they were surrounding him. So he tore out of there, and in tearing out of there and getting out of there, he tore his arms up on briars, and he was bleeding like crazy when he got back to the 4-wheeler. And but yeah, he got out of there very quickly, and in doing so, he tore himself up pretty good on the briars. Now, he did one time turn his 4-wheeler over down there, getting out of there. He didn't hurt himself too bad, but he turned his 4-wheeler off trying to get out of there pretty quick one time. But I think that's what you're referring to, is when he tore himself up really pretty bad on those briars, getting out of there. He was bleeding pretty good when he got back to his 4-wheeler. It's getting a little darker out here now, guys. We ought to start getting some eye shine back there if there's anything moving around. Sheila went back to the cabin to check on the puppies. They were barking at something in there. Um, Robert, I don't know about the game wardens. I'm pretty sure they do. but I think the sheriff deputies around in this area know about them. They've gotten enough calls from people and witnessed enough that I think for sure they know about them. I don't know about the game wardens. I'm pretty sure they probably do. They spend enough time out in the woods out here. I'm pretty sure they do. That's a good question though. Everything all right?
Yeah, I don't know what they're working on. I think they're just getting bored. Somebody asked, do we have a flare? No, we do not have a flare. Someone else asked about how we choose the gifting area and have we ever used peanut butter?
On the FLIR, I've used the FLIR quite a bit. Quite frankly, they destroy my night vision.
Me too.
5 minutes looking through a FLIR, then I can't see for an hour after that. They just completely destroy my my night vision. There's definitely a place for them. I think the first Sasquatch I ever witnessed was through a FLIR